The genocide in Gaza is horrible, and hopefully it stops today before any more horrors occur, or before they commit any more atrocities. But there's something we can already learn from it, that people who are victims of genocide are not immune from committing genocide themselves. And if we look at this as like a social experiment, which hopefully it's not really, although it does seem kind of like it when you look at the way Putin does stuff. If you look at this like a social experiment, it proves that people will do this. And if we take a step back and take a basic lesson from it, it proves that negative teachers, bad experiences are not really good teachers. Bad experiences are bad teachers, and people are traumatized by bad experiences. The whole idea of making a man of somebody, or this will toughen somebody up, or people need to learn from hardship, is an excuse for the hardship existing and being there, and it's not really to people's benefit. I mean, people do learn things from going through hardships, but it's not like we need to therefore have as many hardships as possible so people learn that way, because it's not the best teacher. A better teacher is good experiences, rewards for good things, and encouraging and coaxing people along good paths. We see that with all sorts of like athletes and stuff when people celebrate them and say how great they are in order to help them get better and try to. People all collectively want somebody to be the star, and it takes that type of encouragement and like coddling and nourishment, which we give to people in those situations. But then we expect other people to, strive through the worst conditions. It shows that bad things aren't good teachers. Bad things are bad teachers. The classic example is touching a hot stove. That's how you learn not to touch a hot stove. Well, what happened to who's supposed to turn off the stove? If there's somebody who's supposed to have turned off the stove, maybe that person needs to learn the lesson of not leaving on a hot stove where a child can touch it. And that's a bigger lesson to learn. Uh, Say if you grab a bee, a natural consequence of grabbing a bee is that the bee will sting you. Maybe you'll learn your mistake to grab the bee, or maybe you accidentally grabbed the bee, accidentally put your hand on a bee, and it stung you. But it's not, you don't necessarily blame the bee, or hopefully don't decide that you need to therefore eradicate all bees. You just decide, hey, I made a mistake and got stung, because of the natural order of things. The hot stove is a little different. Someone should be responsible. That's what reminds me of Tide Pods, that they have all these commercials about an everyday object, and they just double down this campaign instead of just canceling Tide Pods after killing a bunch of kids, because it looks like candy, or at least changing what it looks like or whatever. But they have this campaign to try to say an everyday object can kill you. So we should be glad that we have this type of lid on these Tide Pods because we've killed so many kids, and that somehow makes up for it. It's like, no, it's not the kids' fault that Tide Pods look like candy. It's the company's fault. We should change the company. It's not the kids' mistake. It's the company's mistake. And that is the same in this case. It's not people's fault when these bad things happen. It's the system's fault, and we need to change the system, um, so to root these problems out.